It is.
Hello and welcome to the Cycle Breaker Parents Unite podcast. It's so great to have you here because today we're talking about the power of healthy habits with Tereza Szalai. Did I say it right? Can you say your name again?
You did. Hello.
Yes, I'm so happy. Oh, I practiced so hard. And it's really great because today we're recording this on the 10th of October, which is World Mental Health Day. And it actually was an accident that we're recording today. But it's so perfect because, Tereza, tell us about what you do and why this podcast is called The Power of Healthy Habits.
So I'm a personal trainer and I help VA moms or moms who have businesses from home and they sit a lot around their computer and they have children who are running around and maybe homeschooling as well. To get foxy fit and full of energy and motivation and excitement for life. And I help them by adapting and embracing the healthy habits and creating healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, it's that thing, and often I don't know if you know her, but Becky Shuttleworth, she works with children's well-being, and Becky and I often do. She's done like 3 podcasts with me about supporting children, and we often talk about how it's the small changes add up, don't they, over time?
Exactly. Yeah, it's about tweaking rather than doing drastic changes, not being able to stick to them. It's about tweaking and adapting because we evolve all the time. Children evolved all the time. You can see that. And it doesn't suddenly stop because you reach certain age, right?
Yeah.
Lifestyle changes, everything changes. And that's when you learn the importance of healthy habits, how they can support you, your body, your mind, your life. And then you just keep tweaking them. If you know how they work and what you learn a lot about yourself, you will be very surprised what you learn about yourself too, through all that. Yeah, it's
exactly. Just before we came on air, Tereza and I were talking about how in my program, The Turning Point with Cycle Breaker Parents, it's split into 4 clear parts, we call them the 4 pillars. And we don't actually do the parenting skills like how to get them to do something or how to support them to stop hitting somebody, that kind of thing, until the 3rd pillar, because the first 2, this is months that we talk or weeks that we talk about, and it does all help with your relationship with your children way more than people realize. It's all about the mom and the dad, the parent and their relationship, well, with themselves. And then the changes sort of start to happen of their own accord. It's quite powerful. So Tereza, you always talk about your 4 areas that you support people with. And as you were telling me earlier, I should say that I've been following Tereza for ages, which is why I invited you on, because I just think everything you say personally for me, and then I'm thinking as with Cycle Breaker Parents, I'm like, yes, yeah. And one day I just thought, I have to just invite her on. So the 4 areas, could you tell us more about how you approach supporting moms?
Okay, so the 4 areas which we forget when we become mom, and not just with our children, but when we create business, that's our baby, right?
Yes.
And we always putting it in front of our own needs and wants, and we forget completely about sleep, how much sleep important is. We always push it aside. Oh, it's okay, I can live on 5 hours of sleep. Oh yeah, you can live and survive.
You can function just.
Yeah, but how irritable are you? What are you craving? Are you patient with your kids? How focused are you? Can you actually get organized? Or are you feeling like, oh my God, I'm stressed out all day long? Like sleep is like the fundamental of all 4 healthy habits. However, I always say, all 4 of them support each other. So if one falls off, you can feel the ripple effects in the other. So they are all important together. So you have sleep, you have hydration. If you don't get enough water, you are suffering with headaches. Yeah, well done. You are drinking. So you are suffering with headaches, with fatigue. People don't realize actually that tiredness and fatigue, it can be due to dehydration. Then you have the right nutrition, because again, what you feed your body, that's supporting all the systems, not just your actual physical, but your mental well-being and how your brain function, because your brain needs food. And if you don't give it the right food,
when you're tired, you want junk food.
Yeah, that's it.
We're wired that way, aren't we? So it, like you said, it all feeds in.
Yeah, and that's exactly it, because as you say, when you are tired, your body needs energy, so your body will start, you have to disconnect yourself, as in I am fat, or I am unhealthy, or I don't have willpower. You have to say, no, this is my body, and my body reacts this way because it needs fast energy, and the fast energy comes from white carbs and sugars and stuff like that. So you'll be craving, if you love coffee or tea, you'll be craving loads of it with milk and sugar if you drink that, because your body needs it. You will be craving white pasta, white bread, cakes and biscuits, because your body is exhausted and it needs energy fast.
So
sugar,
sugar. Yeah. Sugar,
yeah,
caffeine. And then we slump.
Exactly.
And it's, yes.
That's it. And then you slump, and then you go again. And then you are so exhausted to actually, and unmotivated, create some healthy food, because that's not what your body craves. It needs fast releasing energy. And then it goes again. You stay up till late because you are full packed with sugar and with coffee.
But it's that horrible feeling, isn't it? That wired feeling when you're like, I need to sleep, but I can't.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
It just
that's
feels,
it.
or you feel like inside, wow, this is my experience, because it took me a while. So I don't know if you do know, I had my three children in 3 years.
Wow.
And so like, I don't remember most of 2018. Like, it was tough.
Oh my goodness, I can imagine.
Yeah, no, it was wonderful. It was truly wonderful. But yeah, there was some challenges. And I really had to learn that, and I learned quite quickly that I couldn't cope unless I had water. And water was my big thing because I was breastfeeding as well. And my 2 boys are so close together. I actually tandem fed both of the boys. And I wasn't drinking water. I couldn't work out why I was so tired. And then it seems so silly, but I was in such a brain fog at the time that I didn't compute something that was really logical, which I guess is why people like you come in, because sometimes you need somebody to support you with it and just give you a sort of a kickstart. And then when I started drinking water, everything changed.
Yeah.
I went from 2 glasses of water a day, 2 glasses of water and maybe 2 coffees a day, to 2 liters of water a day. And my skin, I didn't realize my skin had even gone dry. Like, my skin was better. I had much more energy. I was more playful with the kids. I wasn't craving such a rubbish. And it was a turning point, was the day that I started drinking water. And it was when a friend came to me with 2-liter bottles of water, and she was like, just drink them. And I needed it. I needed her to do that for me, because I wasn't able to.
It's amazing you have friends like that. And this story, it's so powerful. I hear it all the time for people who, especially moms, who suddenly realize, oh my goodness, I actually don't drink enough. Because, you make yourself a cup of tea and then you forget that you even made it, right? Because our brain, I know all the new moms always say, oh my goodness, I don't know even where I put my cup, how I can't even think.
I know, 3 hours later, you go into the bathroom like, oh, yeah.
And the thing is that we get into this kind of habit, and then we adapt it as a normal thing for us. And then the lack of sleep, the lack of drinking water, the way we eat, the way we behave, if we don't get aware of it and start changing it, we just fell into those bad, unhealthy habits, which keep just deteriorating our body, and our body can only keep going
health problems in the future.
That's right.
That's
right. I have so many stories about this.
Can you tell me about movement? Because there was something you said about, so the 3 was the sleep and hydration and nutrition, and then the last one was movement. And I really love that you call it that.
Yes, I say exercise/movement, because I know some people love actually exercising. They love going for a run. They love going to the gym. They love boot camps and like high intensity. I know some people do, but I also say I like calling it movement, because you don't have to go and get sweaty in the gym to actually feel the benefits of the movement. Movement can be stretching, as simple as that. Stretching, going for a walk.
Yoga,
Yoga is fantastic, but even some people find yoga a bit challenging. Some women can, especially if they after so many of kids, and if you pile on loads of weight, and if you went maybe through a little bit of depression around when their children were little, because that's very common and moms don't talk about that, but you can get depressed and then pile even more weight on. And when you are depressed, you don't even want to move, so your joints really become very stiff, and you can feel like you are still walking like pregnant person even when your kids are 4 or 5, you know. You can still feel like it's hard to walk up the stairs, like you can't even bend over properly. So all those moms who feel they actually even yoga can be quite challenging for them, there is different types of stretches you can be doing to try and increase your flexibility.
And as a personal trainer, you're perfectly placed to support people. Do you know what I'm hearing? I'm really hearing you in all of these 4 areas, meeting people where they're at.
That's right.
And I don't know why it hasn't crystallized before, but it's just crystallized right now. Do you know what? It's what you were saying about actually speaking to people and listening to people as over just reading what they put out in blog posts and things. That's really what it's about. Because when you have when you read a book and you try and do it and it doesn't work, or you watch a YouTube video and you try and do it and it doesn't work, and sometimes it does and sometimes it just doesn't chime, and that's so different to meeting a real person, Zoom or real life, and then having them work out where you are and support you. Like my friend, I needed somebody to give me a kick and go, just drink it. And then a bit later on, I needed somebody to hold my hand, but because she knows me and we have that connection, she was able to sort of go, dude, tough love, drink it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think it's brilliant, that idea of, certainly with cycle breaker parents, everything you were saying is even more important because they are going to have bigger triggers. If you had a tough upbringing, then being able to deal with all of the stuff that having children who shout, yell, throw things on the floor, don't do as they're asked, maybe they say things to you that are very upsetting because they press those buttons that cycle breaker parents have. We need to be strong, we need to be fit, we need to give ourselves the best chance that we can get. And if we don't have sleep and we don't have nutrition and we never move and we're not hydrated, we're going to struggle more. And that the things that you do, people can do that at home, or they could work with you or somebody like you, because obviously it's not about me and you as people, is it? It's about the message.
That's right.
If you give yourself these things, which is radical compassion, it's radical self-love, then you're better able to be that parent that you want to be, because your foundation is strong.
Exactly. I always think that we are so tough at ourselves, right? All the time, always beating ourselves up. But if you think about it, if you were your own child, which you love with, unconditionally, give that love to yourself and treat yourself like you would your children, right? So if you think about it, you have 3 kids.
That's so beautiful. Yes.
You have 3 kids, and every single child, you have to meet them where they are. You have to listen to them, right? You need to support them at their stage where they are. And this is exactly what it is. You look at yourself the same way. You can go out and search the answers on the internet, and someone comes to you and say, oh my God, this keto diet worked wonders for me. You have to do it. And then you do it. And then it didn't work for you and you feel like a failure, right? And then you find another friend come to you. Oh my God, you have to try this boot camp. This was amazing. Oh my God, you tried it and then you failed and it didn't work for you. And you feel like you don't want to try anything else. And then you start putting tantrums up, right, within yourself, because you're like,
and that is like the inner, because what you're talking about is inner child work. It's inner child healing. It's loving ourselves as if we are, we're able to give our child version of us what we need. And yes, tantrums and that sort of like losing it and getting cross, and sometimes we go into ourselves, sometimes it's outward, just like it is with the children. That's a sign of, I am not safe, I don't feel good, I feel afraid of the world, of feeling not great.
You probably even feel disappointed with yourself, right? So children, I think I see it in my son. He actually he gets angry and he gets tired, like not shouts at me exactly, but throws mini tantrums a little bit when he is disappointed when something doesn't work. He can't work it out.
These are the big feelings, aren't they?
Yeah. And I try to help him sometimes, but he doesn't want to. He kicks even more because he just refuses to even listen. And I think I need to give him a space and let him to figure, like calm down and think. And I think when we are the same we as adults are kind of the same. However, we manage our emotions much better. So our reactions are a bit different, okay? But if someone comes to me when I'm in that stage of disappointment and angry that something doesn't work and I couldn't make it work, if someone comes to me and straight away starts bombarding me with some solutions, I will put a resistance wall up, and I will be probably quite rude as well. Don't talk to me right now, no, I don't want to try it.
But because again, it's all protection, isn't it? When we're not in a good state, it's like, no more, please.
So I need to get through my emotions first, work it out, and then I can be open to some suggestion to try something new, right? But the thing is that it's always about the conversations and trying to listen. And from that point, and I love doing that. I love doing it. Some people say, oh, some people might think that this is too gentle approach for them. But for me, I think that finding actually out what people have tried, what they actually really struggle with, and what they feel, because sometimes or most of the time, we just say the things which are out on the surface, and we don't open up enough to get to the bottom of things, because sometimes we don't even know. So if I ask you certain questions, you suddenly, because I know what to ask to get you to that point, and then ask you, instead of say, oh, do this, I say, hey, how do you feel about trying that? And then instead of, so you kind of come up with your own solutions, but you also notice the feelings you have around it.
And then it's going to stick, isn't it? Because it's not somebody else. And it's really interesting you said that about people not necessarily knowing their own truth, because, this is all about the Cycle Breaker Parents podcast. A lot of people who have grown up in survival mode through no fault of their own, because that's just how they grew up, will have internalized this need to please people. And also they will have dampened their ability. Either they dampened it themselves to stay safe, or they learned through a parent when they were young telling them, okay, I'm not interested in what you're saying, I don't have space for you right now. Or they learned to hide their truth because it wasn't welcome in their house. And then when they grow up and they become adults, and often people come to me because they want to break the cycle, because they want to stop shouting at their child, or they want to do something that isn't a punishment or a naughty step, or they see that mainstream techniques aren't helping them. And we say, actually, for you to break this cycle, and this is great that you've noticed that and then sought help, but for you to break the cycle outside, you must break the cycle inside, so that you can tune in, because you can't give yourself what you need if you don't allow yourself to feel what you need. And that requires some kind of untraining and retraining, which is why I don't know if you saw today, I've started training in EFT, emotional freedom technique, like tapping. That was my gift to myself for World Mental Health Day. It's so exciting. And one of these reasons is because it helps us reprogram from this I'm not allowed to have needs, this story that we quite sensibly come up with. I'm not allowed to have needs, I don't deserve good things, and then years later it's really hard to look after ourselves, and then we're like, oh, why can't I do self-care? Because self-care is all over Instagram. Why do I find it hard to drink water? Why do I find it hard to do whatever? And it's exactly what you said, Tereza. It's meeting yourself, or having somebody or yourself meet you where you're at, and then see where to go.
I love how you said about the mainstream thing, because that's exactly what fitness industry is, and personal training. That's why I don't I say I'm a personal trainer because I want to show people that I have the accreditation and certificates to prove that I've had to learn, oh my gosh, such deep knowledge about physiology and biology and how our body truly works, rather than following some fatty diets and some internet written, some people think that if it's written on the blog, it must be truth, or but it's not. These people, it's their opinion, and they might not have it pulled from scientifically proven evidence, right?
And sometimes they have better websites than the people who actually know what they're talking about. And
that's right.
That's kind of scary.
Because I built my website by myself.
Yeah.
I built my website by myself, but I'm accredited personal trainer, right? So it's like it's not perfect, but it puts the points across. So when you were talking about the mainstream, this is exactly it. I created something which is based on scientific evidence, but which helps moms exactly from I took something from what I've learned and I put it into practice and experience. And my clients have such amazing results from, I don't do it for the weight loss, like you get advertised, right? I do it for health and, of course, the weight loss, but it's a cherry on the top.
I get kind of angry about that thing where everyone's like, when are you going to get your body back? Get your pre-baby body back, or, you know, lose weight. And I actually, in the year after, so, you know, I said I had three in 3 years. I was quite large after I'd had my third baby in 3 years. And when I started, yeah, exactly. That was the thing. I was like, well, you know, what are you going to do? You can't have babies without getting bigger. But at that time, like, there was a lot of, I was suddenly aware of the things in magazines about, you know, the toxic narrative of women's bodies, isn't it? Especially mothers' bodies. And so I decided, I signed up with a different company. It was called Healthy Mummy. It's an Australian thing. And it was about nutrition. It was similar to things that you say, but it wasn't tailored, you know, because it's just an app for everybody, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it really helped me, because it helped me get on with all of the things that you talked about, you know, the hydration. It doesn't talk about sleep, but about hydration and nutrition, and then gentle movement. And I lost 4 stone in a year.
Wow.
But I didn't do it for the weight loss. And I always try and I'm always really nervous when I talk about it, because I'm like, it wasn't about weight loss. The weight loss was a byproduct of me caring for myself. And when I hit about 9 stone, I stopped losing weight. I don't know what that is. I think it was literally 58 kilos or something like that. Like, it just stopped. And it has been steady for 2 years now, because that was, and I don't really weigh. I don't even know really what I weigh, because I don't look, but I know how I feel.
That's it. It's a byproduct, and your body is actually very good and at self regulating weight, because it needs the healthy environment to actually work properly. If it works properly and it's not junked up with stuff, and you know, and the system, you support the systems, then
sorry, there's always a half second delay, because we're in Vietnam to England. It's always a bit on, we're recording this on Zoom, but it's always a bit funny. Oh no, I forgot what I was going to say. It was just that about, oh yes, it was as soon as we're a plant-based family, and my body now it doesn't look like it did before I had babies. Of course it doesn't look like that, but it's around the same weight. It's slightly bigger, slightly heavier, but actually I feel better healthier than I did before having children.
Yes, that's what
I
always
look after myself before I had children. It took that crucible of motherhood and neglecting myself, and then the turning point of that friend who shoved water in my face. And I strongly suspect that you are that turning point for a lot of other people, the point where they realize, actually, I do deserve to feel good, not because. But can you share with us about that? Because you were saying about people move, that when people start working with you, and again, it's not just me and you, it's all of the people, that they sort of start saying things like, because I'm not going to eat this because it will make me fat, and then they sort of change their minds. Could you share on that a bit more?
So normally in the mainstream fitness and diet industry, you are forced to restrict yourself a lot and work out really hard to get what you want, right? Sweating, high intensity workouts, lifting weights, and then diets which you go into, I have to go because I have to do it, because I have to lose weight, or I can't eat this because it will make me fat, right? So instead of actually doing that, when my clients come to me, they usually have tried all the diets there are. They've tried to even some personal trainers and some programs, but they couldn't stick to them. And when they work with me, they suddenly completely change, because I never tell them to take anything out. I tell them to add things in. And naturally what happens is that while they start adding things, that they don't have space for the other stuff. So it naturally shifts. Yeah. And then I tell them to throw their scales away and don't look at them and don't step on them.
Do you know, that's a
So
radical act. It's a wonderful,
yeah.
radical, magical act, isn't it?
Yeah. So we look at it
Love it.
for taking care of themselves and notice their feelings. So after 1 week working with me, what happens just 1 week, tweaking. So there are no drastic changes, tweaking. They suddenly feel more energy, more motivation to do more stuff. And I don't mean just more stuff with like movement, but also more stuff in their home. So they put in the full day of work. The kids are around and dealing with them. They like feel like they want to and can have energy to actually be more active with them and have fun
I
with
found
them.
that like in the afternoon,
And clean the
would they
house
say
as
2
well.
park trips a day? Yeah, because in the afternoon I used to be so exhausted. I mean, I know I was kind of relatively recently postpartum, so you know, of course I was a bit more tired. But even after that, it would get to like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I would put the TV on. Whereas when I had got fitter and stronger, I would be like, yeah, let's go to the park again. Let's go to a different park. Let's go for a walk.
Yes.
And that ripples, we were talking about the ripple effect, that has ripples between me feeling good, the kids getting outside more, they were happier, they slept better, they played more happily and argued less because they were getting the physical energy out, and it was just wonderful. And these are the changes that happen when women look after themselves.
Exactly. And also what it changes, because you were asking about how you look at things, is that because we took the weight off the table and noticing how it actually affects the self-care and the nutrition and sleep and water and everything, how it affects their life. So they start seeing the benefits in it, and then they don't care how much they weigh, although they will start losing, not weight, but fat. So one of my clients, she weighed exactly the same, but she was losing inches on her arms. We were measuring that. But yeah, because she was building muscles. You don't want, if you are losing weight and focusing only on weight, and lots of diets are focused on removing certain things and cutting calories out, which means that you can be burning your muscle and not fat, because muscle weighs more. So you don't actually realize that you are hurting yourself. Your body needs the muscle to support your skeleton system and lots of other things. And the more muscle you have, the more fat you are burning, because muscles are more active. So you are increasing it. There's so much stuff
it's
like
safer. It's safer to do it more slowly as well, isn't it?
But that's why I educate, because I educate moms. It all comes from awareness, and I do educate them how the body works and why they do things, rather than say, do this works. I actually educate them so they know why they are doing it. They know exactly you know, what's happening when they are feeding themselves right, what's happening. So my client, one of my clients, she was, you know, it was summertime, and she was invited to barbecues, lots of barbecues around, right? And this is like a really famous thing in England, that as soon as the sun comes out, lots of barbecues going around. And she was invited to barbecue, and she said to me, look, Tereza, I am quite scared and nervous going to a barbecue, because she used to train with me 3 times a week and really be good with her food and everything. And she said, I'm scared to put myself back and like overeat there and things like this. And I said, look, just go there, fill your plate up how much you want first. But I said to her, fill it with meat, with salads. There's usually lots of salads what they put on the table, right? So I said, fit it with meat, with salad, and only a little bit of like bread, white bread and things like this. Like try to get the white carbs a little bit less, and fill yourself with the protein, with the, you know, with the vegetables and things like. So she went, and she met her aunt there, and her auntie is on Cambridge diet, it's called, and she only is having meal replacement shakes. So she was there at the barbecue with that shake, and she was looking at my client, and she was saying, oh my God, I thought that you can't eat this because you are, you know, you are paying this personal, you are doing personal training and you are on diet. And she said, I am not on diet. I am on healthy eating, and this is different thing, you know. So she had that full plate of stuff, and she talked to me after, and she said, Tereza, I'm feeling so great. I filled myself up, and it was all like the good. She knew it was like good for her body.
Because like there is no place in like motherhood, in parenting, in getting healthy. And yes, for some people that means losing weight. For some people it means putting weight on, and you know, just should we say becoming a healthy weight. There's no room for shame. No room for shame. And the thing is that they are all so loaded, because everything about motherhood and women and women's bodies is steeped in shame. And I just love that you're breaking out of that. Just saying, like,
yeah,
no,
it
you
is
deserve
breaking
to feel good, you deserve to eat what you like, and you deserve to feel, you know, like you said, feel, how do I feel after I eat this? Like, do I feel good? Does my body feel icky? Do I feel strong? And then we naturally gravitate towards, you know, you find yourself, I remember like the first time I found myself like picking up an apple and having some water, and I was like, whoa, what's happened here? Because nobody had told me to do it. It was just like I kind of evolved. Yeah, it's wonderful.
You connect back with your body, because what happens
Yes,
with junk food and
connection.
everything, it rewires your brain and it completely disconnects you listening. Actually, your body completely starts sending you the wrong signals, so you get hungry instead of thirst, and you get if you don't understand. So once you start taking care of yourself with the healthy habits and listening to you instead of focusing on your weight, but rather on your feelings, and think, okay, I'm feeling like crap today, like emotionally, I'm going to go and have some alcohol or have some piece of cake or something, instead of thinking about, actually, this is going to make me feel even worse and I will beat myself up for that choice, right? What I am going to make actually myself some nice cup of tea. I'm going to maybe make us some nice salad, or whatever. You have to find food which you really find tasty, but it's healthy, because there's so many options, so many more options in healthy foods than there's junk foods, to be fair. And there's lots of different flavors and things. And then you suddenly realize that you've changed, your taste changes.
Yes, that
and
happened to
when
me.
you get the takeaway, you feel like, oh my God, I don't like
I did
eating
that
this
with
anymore.
pasta
This feels like
sauce.
crap.
You know, sauce from a jar, and I was eating it, and I was like,
Yeah.
it's just sugar. It tastes
Yeah,
disgusting.
and not just sugar, but like plasticky and like kind of not real food, right? And my
Amazing.
client, she was saying the same. She said she ordered Fit Friends a takeaway, because they always order takeaway, and she ate half of it and she didn't even enjoy it. And she was like, oh my gosh, now I don't want even takeaway, right? And then her friends came and they had a drinking, like a few drinks and stuff. And because she works in a nursery, she received at the end of school year a lot of box of chocolates.
Oh yeah,
And
former
normally
teacher as
she
well.
would,
I used to get the same. Just
she
stacks of
normally she
chocolates
would
in
eat them,
one.
right? But this time she was like, she opened the fridge and she said, look, Teresa, at all those boxes of chocolate. And she said, but I don't really want to eat them. So she had those friends coming over and she took the box of chocolates out and she gave it to them to eat. And she didn't feel like she wanted any. So she did it. And even though she had a few drinks, and usually when you have few drinks, you feel like, oh, I don't want to swear, but like, oh, I just, I just
I'll
have
just do it.
whatever I want now. Yeah, I just do it. But she didn't, because she felt so good about herself. She was feeling how much, this means to her, how much more energy she has. She's a single mom. So after putting the whole day of work, having her son coming home from school, she suddenly had energy and motivation to do homework, to play with him, to create meals which are fun and healthy to eat. And she then was studying in the evening as well. She had motivation, energy to do that. And I was like,
it's huge.
wow. Yeah. And when she came to me, she was suffering with headaches. She could not even do workouts, how bad she was. She went to see the doctor. He prescribed her some medication for a headache. So he didn't even, doctors are always putting plaster solution. You will never get anything to sort actually the problem out. So even though you want to, go take the medication, but start sorting it out from
I think it's starting to change, isn't it? Like if you're lucky, you will get a sort of a more holistic thinking doctor. And I know that they're starting to do the social prescribing thing now, aren't they, where they signpost people. But yeah, generally, I've had similar experience.
So it's fantastic. This client had a huge change because she was working one-to-one with me. So it was huge and fast.
It's like having someone in your corner, isn't it? I wanted to say, Tereza, how can people find you? Because you've got a sort of special thing on at the moment as well. And I should say, for anybody listening to this on the go, everything is in the show notes. So you'll just be able to click through. So everything that you hear, we will write down for you. Don't worry.
So yes, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm there every day. So you can, connect with me there for stories, for following me, for offers, for testimonials, so you see how actually other moms are feeling when they work with me, and how it is to work with me, because sometimes it can feel scary, right?
Yeah, all change is intimidating, isn't it, at the start?
Yeah.
And then that becomes the new norm, isn't it?
Yeah. So all that, on LinkedIn, that's where I'm most, and I always say actually connect with me there. Then you can see on my website some stories and some things on my website. I also have a blog about hydration, so if you want to learn more about the power of water, you can learn that, because I have a CPD in hydration. Yeah. So I will give you a link to my website. And at the moment, I have a fantastic offer. If you are thinking about investing into this kind of training or personal training or lifestyle change, and you are not ready to take the step just yet, but you are interested in creating some kind of plan and bespoke healthy habits package for yourself, then I'm offering a Foxy Fierce hour, it's called. So you can start getting Foxy Fit straight away. And it's on Zoom. We jump on it. We talk about your lifestyle, your healthy habits, what you've tried, what works where you are at. And then we create the exact plan in those 4 areas for you, so you can start working for them, tweaking them. So rather than making drastic changes, just fitting your lifestyle and what you exactly can do at this point, because you need to think about it realistically. What can you actually do if you are exhausted and your children?
I honestly, I can't even thinking about it when I was, remembering to tell you the story. Like, I don't know how long I would have gone or how far down that path I would have gone if I didn't have that friend literally say, do you know what? You have to drink water. You're breastfeeding. This is ridiculous. And you have to start looking after yourself. And then she sent me off. She basically picked my baby up and was like, go have a shower and just go look after yourself. Because I was so, and I wasn't depressed at that point. I was just so beaten down by it. And I needed somebody to be my reset point. And I just,
I remember that feeling, and I have only one child. I have only one child, and I remember I was meeting up with my friend outside to go for a walk, because we wanted to get our kids to sleep, and they didn't sleep, only on me. Like, no, he was only sleeping
when
like
that's
when I was
the plan. Yeah.
I was even taking him to the toilet on me while he was sleeping in my sack, because I could not. I was eating. I remember trying to eat bread with butter, because exactly like that.
Over their head.
He was on, because I could not put him down. He was waking up straight away 5 minutes after I put him down. He must have had like a silent reflux or something. We've realized after. But you never know what's with your children, and I could not sleep then, because I had to carry him or have him
this
on
is
me.
The thing is when you're in that fog state, you don't realize until after, sometimes like 2-3 months after you've come out of that fog state because of the changes. Like, oh yeah, no, I needed help right then, or actually I was in a real fog. It's
yes.
Tereza, thank you for doing what you do. I think it's wonderful. I just think it's brilliant what you do. And I think it's really great that we're recording this on World Mental Health Day, because it's like those physical changes do support people, especially moms, and especially moms who are trying to work from home, because I understand that, being in lockdown over here.
And also think about the ripple effects it's going to have on your family and your children, because you can be telling them how much you want to eat vegetables, to sleep, to drink water, but if you don't do it by yourself, it's just words. It's just words. And
but then actually you don't need any words if you lead by example. This is the amazing thing.
This is another thing. Another one of my clients, she's got older children, and they have some I can't remember what kind of, they have some special needs. I don't remember if they have ADHD or autism or something. I can't remember what it is. And she said that she had real problems to get them to eat fruit or something. They are set in their ways and they only kind of eat junk food. And then she started taking care of herself and thinking more about eating fruit. And without her mentioning anything, suddenly she looked up and one of her children took an apple and started munching on an apple. And she was like, oh my gosh, this never
trying
happens.
To be really
like,
cool about
she was
it.
Emotional. Yeah, exactly. She was like, I'm not even mentioning anything. I'm not even saying anything. So it actually was affecting her child child's behavior and actions and how they are looking after themselves. And
that is breaking the cycle by example.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And they become more adventurous because it rubs off on them. Your vibes, your energy, your motivation, it kind of rubs off on them. So you exciting. Feel this is, and it's not just you have children, if you have partner or friends and you feel like not confident enough to talk about your emotions, your feelings, your wants, your needs, your need to take time off away from family because you feel guilty for saying it, because you should be there for them all the time. And to your clients, by taking care of yourself, it empowers you, suddenly gain confidence within yourself to say this, to put boundaries in place, to talk about your needs, your wants, to improve your relationships. It's fantastic how much the ripple effects go into all aspects of your life. It's mind-blowing.
Oh, that's the most wonderful way to end on, just the idea that when we moms and dads, but and we're both talking about moms today, when we put ourselves first and we look after ourselves with radical compassion, as if we were as precious as our children, because actually we are. It's just that we kind of, society forgets that and we forget that. The ripple effects are huge. Oh, Tereza, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you. And I look forward to speaking to you again in the future. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you for having me. Bye.